Today I'll be talking about how I got my first software engineering job, basically just being a self-taught programmer, not having going to school or university for it. So I went to university for supply chain and finance. I was able to get into business rotation, but how I made that transition was while at my business rotation in the data analytics team, I was able to learn Python on the job to automate a lot of projects, whether it be writing automatic reports in Excel or automating an API call. I was able to find ways to kind of ramp up the difficulty and bring value to the team by saving time, especially for the Excel automation, making sure that we didn't have to put any manual effort or hours into it. And by doing that, reducing the actual error and identifying certain things in that project. And I have a previous video where I talked about what exactly I did in that project. So I'll link it, either in the description or one of the corners in this video. But as I was doing those projects, I started thinking about the next step in my career and how to actually get a software engineering job. And outside of work, I made sure to kind of broaden my horizons and learn JavaScript, learn a little bit of web programming, learn Node.js. And my thought was it would be easier to transition to an internal team in the company I worked in. So I think this is a great tip I want to share with you guys is if you're someone who is learning how to be a software engineer or learning software engineering, if you already work for a company, stay at your day job if you can, and find ways to incorporate programming into your projects, either by saving time, doing things automatically. There's a great book called Automate the Boring Stuff that I also mentioned in a previous video, but it's a great way to learn Python and how to bring value to your team through automation. So the reason you want to, at your current job and team, do these projects is so something you can add to your resume. So one of the biggest barriers you're going to get is not having the background knowledge that you would have learned in college. So that, for example, a team might ask you programming interview questions that are based on data structures and algorithms, and you may not have taken a class there. So one thing I would recommend is also within your company, make sure to make friends with a software engineer and ask them how to prepare. Make sure you use resources on Stack Overflow, Reddit, Google, on also how to prepare not only for those interviews, but on what to build, and to give you ideas too. But one of the things I would also recommend is to build projects that you can showcase on your GitHub profile. Thankfully, if you can do it at work, you can more show the amount of time you save, the percentages, basically quantitative metrics on how you using programming has improved a particular project and your team. Besides that, outside of work, you can just build cool little projects and use that as a way to show that you do have some skill in working with software. And another great thing about kind of transitioning within the company you're working at into a software role is that it's going to be a lot easier than having to interview externally, more often than not. For me, that was the case. I found the right team. I was able to express and communicate to my manager on the business side that I wanted to transition my career to software engineering. Thankfully, there was a team with opening who needed a new software engineering engineer. And what I did before I interviewed with them, I asked them what they were looking for. Particularly, they were looking for a web programmer who was good in Node.js and Angular 1. So what I did for them was I built two quick little projects in Angular and Node, using tutorials and my own variations and modifying it and adding my own style and my own logic, basically adding on to it to showcase that I could do good work and I would be a good fit for the team. So even though it wasn't the most beautiful code, I wanted to kind of send them signals or show them that I was willing to put in the work to become good and provide value to the team. So I want you to think about the same thing. Do good work on your current team at your job, but also ask and kind of see what the team is looking for and see if you can close the gap between your current skill sets and show them basically potential and promise where you could be. And that's what I was able to do in my interview. I was able to show enthusiasm about the team, about the technologies, and what I could provide for them. Thankfully, I joined a great team. I had a lot of great years there, and I'm very thankful for the opportunity, because once you get your first software engineering job, it's a lot easier to get the next ones, especially if you keep your head and mentality always looking to improve and learn more, and you basically humble and realizing there's so much to learn and you got to learn more. But I basically just want to recommend that maybe not a lot of people think about this, but if you want to become a software engineer, you don't necessarily have to take time off. That's definitely a valid strategy, but sometimes it might be easier or a more viable pathway to become a software engineer at your current company. So utilize your existing network or connections to find a way to do that. Ask if there's any opportunities that you can kind of transition into. And basically, whether it's at work or outside of work, make sure that you're constantly building stuff that you can showcase to other people, because you have to showcase why you're a good potential candidate. Why would they want to hire you in comparison to someone who went to school for computer science? Maybe it's that drive and enthusiasm for the team and technology. Maybe showcasing that you've learned something by yourself. I think that's a really good signal you could send to potential employers in your company or outside your company. You having the curiosity and drive to learn something hard like programming, to build something consistently. So just showcase that. But I did want to provide basically that viable option that people have. For me, it was tremendously more easy to transition to a software team inside my own company than it was outside. And all you need to do is, you can hear 1,000 no's. As long as you get one yes, you can start your career in software engineering. Anyways, guys, thank you guys for your time, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Cheers.